Stadium Australia, known for sponsorship reasons as ANZ Stadium, formerly Telstra Stadium, is a multi-purpose stadium located in the Sydney Olympic Park, in Sydney, Australia. The stadium, which in Australia is sometimes referred to simply as the Olympic Stadium, was completed in March 1999 at a cost of $690 million Australian to host the 2000 Summer Olympics. Every year since the stadium was built, the New South Wales Rugby League team's home games in the State of Origin series have been played there. Also since then the stadium has since hosted the annual National Rugby League Grand Final. ANZ Stadium also hosted the 2003 Rugby World Cup Finals and Bledisloe Cup matches, regular Sydney Swans and Greater Western Sydney Giants AFL matches, as well as international soccer matches featuring Australia's national team the Socceroos, and exhibition games by Sydney-based A-League teams Sydney FC. The stadium was originally built to temporarily hold 110,000 spectators, making it the largest Olympic stadium ever built as well as the largest stadium in Australia. In 2003 reconfiguration work was completed to shorten the north and south wings, and install movable seating. These changes reduced the capacity to 83,500 for a rectangular field and 82,500 for an oval field. Awnings were also added over the north and south stands, which allows most of the seating to be undercover. The stadium was also engineered along sustainable lines, for example with a low use of steel in the roof structure in comparison to the Olympic stadiums of Athens and Beijing. Naming rights. The stadium lacked a naming right sponsor in its formative years, bearing the name Stadium Australia between its opening in 1999 and 2002. In 2002, telecommunications company Telstra acquired the naming rights, resulting in the stadium being known as Telstra Stadium. On December 12, 2007 it was announced by the Stadium Australia Group that the stadium's name was to be changed to ANZ Stadium after concluding a deal with ANZ Bank worth around $31.5 million Australian over 7 years. This change took effect on January 1, 2008. History. Early history. In 1993, Stadium Australia was designed to host the 2000 Sydney Olympics. The first sporting event held at the stadium was on March 6, 1999 when a then-record rugby league football crowd of 104,583 watched the NRL first-round doubleheader, featuring Newcastle v Manly and Parramatta v St George Illawarra Dragons. The attendance broke the old record of 102,569 set at the Odsal Stadium in Bradford, England for the Challenge Cup final replay between Warrington and Halifax held on May 5, 1954. The first musical act held at the newly built stadium was the Bee Gees, consisting of Barry, Robin and Maurice Gibb, in March 1999. The band had embarked on what would be their final world tour as a group before the death of Maurice, the tour ending in the newly built Olympic Stadium. The crowd was 105,000 plus. The stadium was not officially opened until June 1999 when the Australian national soccer team played the FIFA All-Stars. Australia won the match 3-2 in front of a crowd of 88,101. Stadium Australia also played host to the national side's historic playoff win over Uruguay in November 2005, a victory which granted Australia FIFA World Cup qualification for only the second time in the country's history. The event attracted a virtual capacity crowd of 82,698. The 1999 Bledisloe Cup Rugby Union match between the Australian Wallabies and the New Zealand All Blacks attracted a then world record Rugby Union crowd of 107,042. The attendance broke the old record of 104,000 set at Murrayfield Stadium in Edinburgh, Scotland during the 1975 Five Nations Championship match between Scotland and Wales. In 2000 this was bettered when an almost capacity crowd of 109,874 witnessed the greatest ever rugby match, when a Jonah Lomu try sealed an All Blacks win over the Wallabies 39-35. The All Blacks had led 24-0 after 11 minutes only to see Australia draw level at 24-all by half-time. An exhibition soccer match between the Socceroos and Premier League team Manchester United was played on July 18, 1999. Manchester United defeated Australia 1-0 in front of 78,000 spectators. On June 9, 1999, the stadium hosted its first ever State of Origin series game between New South Wales and Queensland. The match, Game 2 of the three-game series, saw the record Origin attendance in Sydney win 88,336 saw the Blues christen their new home with a 12-8 win. The attendance broke the Origin attendance record of 87,161 set at the Melbourne Cricket Ground for Game 2 of the 1994 series. On August 7, 1999, a National Football League exhibition game called the American Bowl was played between the Denver Broncos and the San Diego Chargers, bringing home former Australian Football League player Darren Bennett, the Chargers punter. The Broncos won the game 20-17 in front of 73,811 spectators. This was Australia's first, and currently only, American Bowl game. The 1999 National Rugby League Grand Final, played on September 26 between the Melbourne Storm and the St George Illawarra Dragons, broke the Rugby League world record crowd previously set earlier in the season when 107,999 came to watch the Storm defeat the Dragons 20-18 to win their first NRL premiership. Storm captain Glenn Lazarus, who had previously won grand finals with Canberra and Brisbane, retired after the game having played 254 games. During the 2000 Olympics, the evening track and field sessions on day 11 attracted 112,524 spectators on the night that Australia's Cathy Freeman won the Olympic gold medal for the women's 400 metres. As of 2014, this remains the world record attendance for any athletics event. Also during the Olympics, the Association Football Final attracted 104,098 to witness Cameroon defeat Spain for its first ever Olympic gold medal. This was an Olympic Games football attendance record, breaking the record of 101,799 set at the Rose Bowl during the gold medal game of the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. The opening ceremony for the 2000 Summer Olympics at the stadium completely sold out all 110,000 seats, while the highest attendance for any event in modern Olympic Games history was recorded with 114,714 at the stadium for the closing ceremony of the same Games. Musical acts for the closing ceremony were a who's who of Australian music including Kylie Minogue, John Paul Young, Jimmy Barnes, Midnight Oil, INXS, Men at Work, and Slim Dusty, who sang Waltzing Matilda. Australian rock band AC/DC played 3 shows in February 2010 as part of their Black Ice World Tour, supported by Wolfmother. Respectively, the shows had an attendance of 70,282, 75,867 and 66,896. Irish rock band U2 performed at ANZ Stadium on 13th and 14th December 2010 as part of their U2 360 tour. They may have set a new attendance record for the reconfigured stadium with over 90,000 people expected at each show. ANZ Stadium claimed that it would be the biggest event since the 2000 Olympic Games. US rock band Bon Jovi performed at the stadium on December 14, 2013. The show was sold out and it was the biggest concert there since U2 in 2010. Post-reconfiguration. The Sydney Swans v Collingwood Australian Football League match at the stadium on Saturday 23 August 2003 set an attendance record for the largest crowd to watch an Australian rules football match outside of Victoria, with 72,393 spectators attending, and was the largest home and away AFL crowd at any Australian stadium for 2003. The attendance broke the record of 66,897 set at Football Park in Adelaide, South Australia on September 28, 1976 for the South Australian National Football League Grand Final between the Sturt and Port Adelaide football clubs. October 2, 2005 saw 82,453 attend the NRL Grand Final, in which the Wests Tigers defeated the North Queensland Cowboys 30-16. November 16, 2005 saw 82,698 attend the second leg of the Oceania South America qualification playoff game for qualification to the 2006 FIFA World Cup. Australia defeated Uruguay 1-0. which led to a penalty shootout as Uruguay had won the first leg of the playoff 1-0. Australia won the shootout 4-2 and secured a spot in the World Cup for the first time since 1974. The penalty spot where John Aloise's spot kick secure victory has been permanently preserved and is on public display at the stadium. On October 1, 2006, the stadium hosted the 2006 NRL Grand Final between the Brisbane Broncos and Melbourne Storm. It was the first time since the competition began in 1908 the two teams from outside of Sydney had contested the Grand Final. 79,609 fans saw the Broncos defeat the Storm 15-8. As of the 2013 NRL Grand Final, this is the only time no Sydney-based team has contested the Premiership decider and also the only time an NRL Grand Final at the Olympic Stadium has failed to attract at least 80,000 fans. On October 5, 2008, the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles defeated the Melbourne Storm 40-0 in the 2008 NRL Grand Final in front of 80,388 fans. This is the record-winning margin for a Grand Final, breaking the previous record of 38-0 when Eastern Suburbs defeated St George in the 1975 Grand Final played at the Sydney Cricket Ground. 2008 was the centenary year of the competition. In February 2009, the stadium replaced its existing two television screens with new Panasonic HD LED video screens that measure 23x10 ma Euro 70% larger than the original screens, and 50% larger than the screens in the Beijing National Stadium, whilst consuming less power than the old screens. Additionally, an LED perimeter screen showcasing ANZ advertising has been installed on the second level from the 30M line to the 30M line. September 25, 2009 saw the largest ever NRL Finals attendance in competition history when 74,549 fans saw the Parramatta Eels defeat the Bulldogs 22-12 in the preliminary final of the 2009 NRL season. This beat the previous finals record of 57,973 set at the Sydney Cricket Ground for the preliminary final of the 1963 NSWRFL season, which St George defeat Parramatta 12-7. September 30, 2012 saw the largest ever NRL Grand Final crowd since reconfiguration when 82,976 attended the 2012 NRL Grand Final to see the Melbourne Storm defeat the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs 14-4. This number was nearly reached in the 2009 NRL Grand Final between the Storm and the Parramatta Eels, with 82,538 in attendance. On 13th and 14th December 2010, a U2 concert, one of the biggest in history, was held at the ANZ Stadium. On July 6, 2013 a new rectangle configuration record attendance of 83,702 watched the British and Irish Lions defeat the Wallabies 41-16 to win the Tom Richards Cup by 2-1. The record set by the Wallabies Test was broken just 10 days later on July 17 when 83,813 attended Game 3 of the 2013 State of Origin Series. Queensland defeated NSW 12-10 to win their 8th straight Origin Series. With 80,380 attending Game 1 at the stadium, the attendances also broke the Origin attendance records for the first and third game of a series. With the second game of the series attracting 51,690 to Brisbane's Suncorp Stadium, 2013 also broke the Origin Series attendance record with 215,883 attending the three games. On September 6, 2013, the largest ever NRL minor round attendance for a single game at the stadium was set when 59,708 saw eventual 2013 premiers the Sydney Roosters defeat South Sydney 24-12 in the final round of the 2013 NRL season. This was also the largest single-game minor round crowd in the history of the Premiership dating back to 1908. This broke the previous record set at the ANZ Stadium in Brisbane on August 27, 1993 when St George defeated Brisbane 16-10 in round 22 of the 1993 NSWRL season in front of 58,593 fans. On June 18, 2014, 83,421 fans saw NSW defeat QLD 6-4 in Game 2 of the 2014 State of Origin series. After having won Game 1 at the Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, the home side's wins saw Queensland's 8-year domination of Origin come to an end as New South Wales won their first series since 2005. On October 5, 2014, a new post-reconfiguration attendance record of 83,833 saw South Sydney defeat Canterbury Bankstown 30-6 in the 2014 NRL Grand Final. It was the Rabbitohs' first Grand Final appearance and premiership win since 1971. Development. In October 2001, major reconfiguration work on the stadium was commenced to allow for sports that require an oval field, such as cricket and Australian rules football, to be played at the ground. The two wing stands were removed as well as the athletics track, and a movable seating section was introduced in its place. New roofs were built over the two ends and seats that had a poor view of the field were removed. The reconfiguration reduced the capacity to 84,000 for the rectangular field and 82,500 for the oval field at a total cost of $80 million. The construction work was carried out by Multiplex. The reconfiguration work was completed in October 2003 in time for the 2003 Rugby World Cup, where the then Telstra Stadium hosted the opening game, two other groups games, both semi-finals, the third-place playoff and final matches of the competition. In the first semi-final on November 15, 2003, Australia beat New Zealand 22-10, and then in the second semi-final the following day England beat France 24-7. In the final, on November 22, England beat Australia 20-17 in extra time. The reconfiguration of the venue into a geometric stadium shape rather than a true rectangle shape to allow for use by Aussie rules and cricket has drawn criticism from fans of both rugby codes and soccer. Many are critical that the ends of the stadium are too far away from the rectangle-shaped pitches used for the three sports, and that viewing from those sections has been compromised as a result. It has also drawn criticism from Sydney Swans fans and players as well as commentators for its distance from the Sydney CBD, poor surface due to the frequent use of movable seating and poor attendances. Uses. Various sporting codes have used this ground on a regular basis. The National Rugby League is the most regular tenant of the ground, while Rugby Union Internationals, Association Football Internationals and Australian Rules Football are all played at the ground. ANZ Stadium hosts the following: Rugby League Football. 5 current teams play their home games here: Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, South Sydney Rabbitohs, 2 Parramatta Eels home games. The Eels play 1 home game at Marara Stadium plus their remaining 9 home games at their regular home ground Parramatta Stadium. The Wests Tigers use ANZ Stadium as one of their 3 home grounds, alongside Leichhardt Oval and Campbelltown Stadium. The St George Illawarra Dragons called the stadium home for the 2008 season while when Jubilee Oval was reconfigured. The Dragons returned in 2014 to play 2 home games per season at ANZ Stadium. All New South Wales home games of the State of Origin series are played at the stadium each year, and every NRL Grand Final has been held there since 1999. Rugby Union. At least 2 rugby union tests a year are also played at the stadium, usually a Bledisloe Cup match, and a tour match. The New South Wales Ratters also play usually 1 or 2 of their biggest games a year at this stadium rather than their usual home ground, the Sydney Football Stadium. On July 6, 2013, the last test of the 2013 British and Irish Lions tour was played in the ANZ Stadium, with the Lions winning 41-16 to win the series. On August 2, 2014, the stadium played host to the Super Rugby final between the New South Wales Ratters and the Canterbury Crusaders. A record Super Rugby crowd of over 61,800 witnessed the Ratters defeat the Crusaders in a thriller, 33-32. Association Football, as the largest capacity stadium in Australia that can be configured for rectangular field sports, a large number of Australian National Association football team games are staged at the ground. Sydney FC played a one-off match against the Los Angeles Galaxy at this ground. Sydney FC won 5-3 in front of 80,295. Sydney FC played English Premier League side Everton FC at ANZ Stadium on July 10, 2010. Everton defeated Sydney FC 1-0 in front of 40,466. The ground played host to the 2013 A-League All-Stars game on July 20 when the A-League All-Stars hosted Premier League team Manchester United. The Red Devils defeated the A-League's best 5-1 in front of 83,127 fans, the record soccer attendance at the stadium since its reconfiguration. The ground will play hosts for the A-League All-Stars match against Juventus. The ground will play host to several games of the 2015 AFC Asian Cup, including the final. 2015 AFC Asian Cup. Australian rules football. All home AFL finals hosted by the Sydney Swans and Greater Western Sydney Giants are played at this ground, except for one in 2005 due to the stadium being unavailable. The 2012 Sydney derbies were also played at the venue. However, the Swans' home game moved to the Sydney Cricket Ground in 2013 and the Giants' home game moved to Sydney Showground Stadium in 2014. The Sydney Swans played up to 4 blockbuster games at the venue each season, with their remaining home games played at the Sydney Cricket Ground. From 2010, only 3 games are played at ANZ Stadium by the Swans. The Greater Western Sydney Giants has ANZ Stadium as an option for home games when the Sydney Showground Stadium, their primary home ground, is unavailable. Cricket. The NSW Blues play some limited overs Rugby one-day cup matches at the stadium. The stadium has been approved as a ground for international cricket and has hosted 2020 internationals, and has also been listed as a stadium in the 2015 Cricket World Cup. The stadium is home to the Sydney Thunder franchise of the Big Bash League. It hosted its first ever international cricket match when Australia took on India in a 2020 night game on February 1, 2012 and has hosted an international T20 game annually ever since. Other sports. The stadium has also hosted the Speedway Grand Prix of Australia on one occasion in 2002. The SGP drew a crowd of approximately 30,000 fans. As of the 2014 Speedway Grand Prix Series, this is the only time Australia has hosted a round. Attendance records. See also, 2000 Summer Olympics venues, references. External links, ANZ Stadium official website, Corporate Events Sydney, Stadium Australia at Stadiums, 2000 Summer Olympics official report. Volume 1. PA 376.